My name is Esmeralda Angel, and this is the second portion of Exam 1. And I'm going to be doing question 1, which says, sketch place value blocks to show 345 in a standard way, then sketch place value blocks to show 345 could be rebundled so that there are 200 blocks. Write/type a sentence to state how tens in the second sketch could create roughly 3 to 5 minutes recording explaining what happened to go from the first sketch into the second sketch using language of ones, tens, and hundreds throughout the recording. So this will be my explanation. Enjoy.
So the number that we have is 345, and we can see that being represented by having 3 hundreds are in the red, the 4 tens are in green, and the 5 ones are in yellow. We know that the 3 is in the hundreds place. We know that the 4 is in the tens place, and the 5 is in the ones place by breaking it down into this image right here. We see the number 3 in the hundreds place, the 4 in the tens place, and the 5 in the ones place, giving us 345, represented by each color, as in the last picture, seeing that we have, once again, the 3s are the reds for the 300s, the 4 tens are in green, and the 5 ones are in yellow.
When we have the number 345, we are able to see how exactly it's broken down, especially with all using the base 10 system. So seeing the 3 broken down into the 300s, because we know that one red block equals 100s. Then we know that one of the green strips equals tens, and then the single blocks equal, of course, their single block. So being able to figure out that 100 blocks is 300, 4 of the 10 blocks is 40, and the single blocks, we have 5 of them, so then that will equal 5. So adding it together, having 300 plus 40 plus 5 gives us the 345, like in this image right here.
So here we can see it being broken down once again by color. We have the 3 100s in red, 4 tens in green, and 5 and ones in yellow. So we can see that 3 of the 100s, because each red block equals to 100, and we have the number 345, so adding 3 100, so 100 plus 100 plus 100, and then 4 of the 10 blocks, because each of the long strips equal to 10, the green ones, keep in mind, so those are 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, and then the yellow blocks are equal to 1 unit, so those are 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which gives us 5, and we can simplify that by adding all of the reds and get 300, adding all of the greens and getting 40, adding all of the yellows and getting 5, and once again simplifying it by adding 300 plus 40 plus 5 to give us 345.
Now, there's different ways to show 345. The standard way, of course, is breaking it down into the hundreds, tens, and ones, but we can easily show them in another way by rebundling them and having them showed in different ways and still get the same number at the end, but showing them different ways, because there's different ways that we can show any number. But of course, the easiest way is to just break it down the way that it is. But here's another way that we can show 345.
So another way that we can show 345 is, let's break it down, and now we have 2 hundreds, 13 tens, and 15 ones. What I did was I broke up one of the hundreds and I took 9 of them and put them in the tens place, because remember before we had 4 tens, and I just put 9 of them into the tens, and then the last 10 I put them into the ones place. Keep in mind that there are 10 tens that make up 100, so having 9 of them into now the tens place, adding it to the 4, so 4 plus 9 would give you 13, and that extra 10 moving it all the way down to the 1, so having the 5 adding another 10, so 5 plus 10 would be 15, and it would look like this. Here we can see now that the hundreds has 2 in them, because we have 2 hundreds. We have 13 tens and 15 ones, and this is what the equation will look like. Once again, broke it down in color, so having the 2 hundreds, because they're the red block, so keeping the consistency. So now we have 2 hundreds instead of the 300s, so we have 100 plus 100, and then below it we have now 13 tens that are in green because all of the greens cube strips equal 10. So we have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, 13 times. And then in the ones, we have 15 ones because we moved one of the tens to the ones place and 9 of them into the tens place. So then, of course, if we were to simplify it, we would get, adding the reds, the hundreds would be 200s, adding all the tens would get 130, and then adding all the ones would be 15, which now 200 plus 130 plus 15 equals 345.
There are so many different ways that we can break up the number 345, but these are the two simplest ways. The first one is obviously the easiest, breaking it down the way that we see it, the way the kids will understand it. And of course, trying to complicate things, you can easily have just put all of the 100 tens, the ones that we took the second time, and putting all of those extra tens into the tens place, which would get, we would have 200s, then we would have 14 tens, and then still the 5 ones, and then we would still end up getting the same answer. But having more variety helps to see what is actually being broken down, and also to show that there's more than one option to be able to show what 345 looks like with the hundreds, with the tens, and the ones. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it was helpful. Thank you.